So to estimate the weight of these pumpkins, we make 3 measurements. One is around the circumference at above the ground, a level circumference. This pumpkin here is about 12.5 feet circumference on it. Then we make a measurement from ground to ground, side to side, and from ground to ground, end to end. And the Giant Pumpkin Growers Association, they have cross-reference charts. So we're estimating this pumpkin at almost 800 pounds right now, and right now it's been growing about 10 pounds a day. At its peak, it was close to 25 pounds a day it was growing. So we know that by the measurements we made every couple of days. So
Now, what kind of things do you have to do to, obviously, this is certainly kind of out of the normal, but what kind of things do you have to do to make sure that this pumpkin continues to grow at the rate that it does and to get to this size even?
well, we're getting to the end of the growing season, so the warm days are coming to an end. So it's just slowing down because of it. But the number one thing is you got to have giant pumpkin seed, and that's available from several sources online, internet. Just make sure the giant pumpkin seed. This seed came from a pumpkin that 2 years ago was 850 pounds from a guy in Algoma. But secondly, you got to take care of the plant. This plant is roughly 1,000 square feet, one plant, and it just started growing. And as it grew, we started burying the vines, because when you bury the vines, they root down, and this becomes one big 1,000 square foot of root mass feeding this one pumpkin. So beyond that, it's where the pumpkin is placed on the on the main vine, and how you do that. And this really was my learning year, so I'm going for over 1,000 for sure next year, but I'm hoping more for 1,400 or 1,500 pounds next year on something. So.
How big of a goal was this for you to produce a pumpkin this big?
Uh, it was something, I've been playing around for 3 years, but so my previous record was like probably not even quite 200 pounds. So it's just something I've been kicking on, and it comes from knowing somebody who's doing it and getting you hooked in on it. Now it's like an addiction, so now you have to just keep going. This really was a learning year. I did pretty good for a learning year. So like I say, just go for it. I can do a better job laying the plant out, fertilizing, doing a lot, but it's a lot of vine training, and but all that information I got off like YouTube or the internet. There's a lot of people doing videos on this and how to do it, so it's pretty easy, but it takes a lot of work, a lot more work than you think. I do have 4 plants here, you can see, and we only keep one pumpkin per plant. So this one's 800, the one on the end is close to 800, and the other one is probably 600 and probably 500 something on the third one.
So you're picking even some pumpkins off before they're ready, just to kind of support one big pumpkin.
Yeah, you pick all the little pumpkins off. You only one pumpkin per plant to get this size. So.
Unbelievable.
And we keep them covered at night. You can see those have sheets on them. Or actually keep them covered 24/7. That keeps them from drying out and splitting or cracking, because when you go to weigh-ins, these can't have any malformations in them or any holes in them. But they will crack because they're growing so fast. They take care of the vines, take care of the stem, because this handle here is very important that it stays dry and doesn't get disease. So that things can go abruptly backwards in a hurry if they're not taking care of it. A lot of guys just keep fans blowing on them and keep them just dry. We're spraying them with some fungicides about once a week, and fertilizing. A lot of field preparation before we plant it.
So what does the future for this pumpkin entail here? You were saying before that you might pumpkin within the next week or two. What's next for this particular pumpkin?
We're going to put it on display here, and then I think there's 4 or 5 weigh-in sites throughout the state. They have weigh-in days. The first one is next weekend, Kenosha, September 11th. Then there's one in Cedarburg the week after. But the goal for all giant pumpkin growers is to take your champion pumpkin to a weigh-in and compete with the other people. They have prizes up to 10 places they pay out. So I'm taking this to probably the last weigh-in of the year, which is in Michigan, and it's at 800 pounds. I'm thinking I'm going to be in the top 10. If I got 5 or 6, it would be pretty nice. So, but they've had 2,000 pound pumpkins there in the past. So.
Now, obviously not everybody's going to be able to take home an 800-pound pumpkin. We're in the middle of one of your pumpkin patches. You can see a bunch of them kind of sprouting up. How does this year's pumpkin crop compare to past years?
this year's pumpkin crop is really good. You know, pumpkins like hot weather, sunny, hot weather, and we start out right from, we planted these the first week in June when we had 90 degrees for like 4 or 5 days probably. I've never had that, but at planting time, but we put them in the ground and they shot up and they never turned back. But we've got a beautiful crop this year. So this field we're standing in is, we probably have like 8 acres, which is about not quite half of our crop of pumpkins.
Very good, and you're going to be able to pick those up at Hillside Apples. Sorry, now you have a whole bunch already picked.
Yep. You can see some over there behind the outhouse that we just picked this morning. So we'll get thousands and thousands of pumpkins out of this field. So.
Well, very good. Well, tell Linus Van Pelt at the Great Pumpkins right here. No need to look much further. Bill Roethle, thank you so much for taking us out to your pumpkin patch and showing us your big pumpkins.
Thank you, Tim, and the Door County Daily News team. Thank you.